Hey, hello, welcome back to Ascendria Tarot for this week's tarot reading. My name is Caitlin. I am co-owner of Ascendria with my mom, which will be a store opening up in Polson, Montana. We're almost finished. We've got pretty much all the painting done. Now it's just a matter of waiting for products to come in and kind of figuring out what hours we want to be open and what days we want to be open. So definitely follow along for more updates on that. A few disclaimers before we get started. With tarot, it is a tool for reflection and insight and clarity. It's not a fixed outcome, it's not a guarantee, it's not telling you the future and what's going to happen. That's a huge red flag if somebody's telling you, oh, your ex is going to text you in 3 days. Mm-mm, mm-mm. So just allow the messages to support your own inner wisdom. The only way tarot messages can resonate with you is if you already hold that truth within yourself. So take what resonates, gently leave the rest. I will say I did the entire reading for Earth Signs and then accidentally clicked out of my camera on my laptop, went to go watch it, no sound. No sound whatsoever. So I got the cards back out. I'll try to kind of jump back into it and explain what I got from the cards that I pulled. So let's go like 2 minutes for Earth Signs. So the oracle cards I pulled was visualization. It says imagination, focus, experience, and manifestation. So this is like, it is kind of a dreaming card. It's visualizing what you want to call that in. And then we got forgiveness, letting go, healing, growth, compassion. And then we've got connection, which is universal oneness, love, interconnection, and support. And then, so the tarot cards I got, I'll just go each one since I've already got all the cards out. With visualization, I got the King of Coins and the Five of Coins. And the Five of Coins is like being left out in the rain alone, kind of knocking on the door asking for help, but nobody wants to help you. It's almost like uh, that enchantress that comes seeking shelter from the storm in Beauty and the Beast, and nobody wants to help her. That energy. That's the Five of Cups. Five of Coins. Sorry. And then the King of Coins is like, he's a master planner. He's very practical, very I would say logical as well, because the kings are air, which is mind, thinking, logic, all of that good stuff. But the coins are earth, so it's practical, it's grounded, it's physical reality, it's materials. So he's really good at bringing things into the physical reality and planning them, executing them, what have you. And at first I thought this was like, and it still could be, but at first I thought it was maybe building a company or a business or a nonprofit or something like that within the service of others and helping others. So like maybe volunteering at a homeless shelter, something along those lines. Um, Take that as it resonates. You know, it might not be volunteering at a homeless shelter, but take the vibe of that and fit it within your own narrative. However, when I pulled a clarifying card on those, got the world, which the world is the end of one chapter and the beginning of another. And so that almost made me think that you're in this energy, but you want to be in this energy. And so there's a shift happening, and we'll get into that shift and why that shift is coming about. With forgiveness, we got the 10 of Wands, which is usually carrying too much. A lot of burdens all on your own, no help. But then I got the 2 of Coins. And the 2 of Coins says to me, like, the 2s are usually duality, and like the 2 of Swords is indecision. But with coins being like physical, tangible reality, I see this as, still a fork in the road, but instead of being in the mind, it is literally choosing between 2 opportunities in the physical realm. And so I almost think you've been holding on to that, making a decision, and you've been procrastinating on making that choice, and it's been a burden, and you've been carrying it way too long. And when we visualize things and try to call things in, something has to break away first before, it has to create space for the new to come in. And so the way I kind of seen that with forgiveness and letting go is once you make a decision, things will start to shift. And I pulled a card on those ones because I wanted to know like what this indecision was, what this choice was. And it is a little headspace, but I'll connect the dots here. So the 4 of Wands, the way I see it is like this little bubble of sanctuary while the world around you is just being destroyed and in chaos. And the way I kind of seen that is, what part do you want to focus on? Because there is a lot of destruction and chaos in the world right now. But what you focus on is what you will be getting more of. It's almost like when you buy a new car and you've never seen that car in the valley before, but then you buy the car and then you start seeing it everywhere. It's just like that. Whatever you focus on, you will get more of in your reality. So, I pulled more cards on that and then got the 5 of Cups, which is very similar to the 5 of Coins, but where the 5 of Coins is physically being left out in the rain. Any 5 is going to be instability. This is more internal. 5 of Cups is like the broken pieces within your soul, within your emotions, your scars, your emotional baggage, I want to say, even with the 10 of Wands, it's your emotional burdens. And with that, we got the 3 of Wands, which I said it earlier, and I want to say it again because I love it. This card always reminds me of the Treasure Planet movie. I don't know, the imagery just like Treasure Planet. But 3 of Wands is like waiting for your ship to come in, waiting for your dream to manifest itself in the reality. And then with the 4 of Coins, it's not necessarily greed. It's more being super protective over what's yours and like mine, 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 mine. Don't touch my stuff. Don't take my stuff. Mine. And so what I kind of got with all of that is the kind of concept between scarcity and lack mindset versus a mindset of abundance. Because the example I used was obviously money. Money is always kind of a go-to example, but the more you focus on what you don't have, the more moments in your life will come to not necessarily take what you already have, but it keeps you within this perpetual state of not enough. But when you focus on what you do have, excuse me, even if it's just $2 in the account, when you focus on what you do have, it brings in more of that. So when you have gratitude and you say, "Thank God I have these $2," that gratitude will breed more things to be grateful for. The example I gave in the video that had no sound is my partner and I have learned over the years to trust the process. And even when things look really bleak and really scarce, just trust the process. And the other day, he went to the store without me, and I'm the one that had the cash in my wallet, but he didn't know that. And there wasn't enough money in our account, and so it declined, and the guy behind him paid for it. And he thought of all the times that he paid for other people's stuff. And then a couple other things happened. Our neighbor gave us some money. My mother-in-law sent me money, and we just weren't expecting it. So when you focus on what you do have and you trust that process, crazy things start to happen. And you might not see where that money is going to come from, but it will always be there. And so that's kind of what I got with this whole indecision and focusing on either the bubble of sanctuary or the chaos. Even when it comes to dreams, when you focus on the lack of your dreams coming true, that is what you will get. But if you focus on, what can I do today to call that dream in, to bring it one step closer, things will start to happen. And then with this connection card, the first card I got was the Five of Wands. And I was like, is this supportive connection? But as I kind of felt down into it, because the Five of Wands is a competition card. It is definitely fighting with others. And what I kind of got from it was, you might not be playing in the sandbox very well with others right now. But then I got the Nine of Coins. And that's like a huge 180 shift. So what I kind of got with that is, once you shift your perspective and your mind starts to shift and you start to see the beauty in all things and everyone and appreciate that beauty and appreciate what you do have, everything in your physical reality will start to shift. It's crazy what happens with a mindset shift, because everything around you in the physical world will start to change without you having to do anything. You won't even lift a finger. You just shift your mindset and all the little puzzle pieces start to fall into place. So I see that as the key to the shift that you've been visualizing and reflecting on of moving from basically scarcity mindset and being left out in the rain to knowing how to bring your dreams into the physical space. I hope that made sense. I feel like it made more sense when I was pulling them, but computer doing wonky things today. So that's where we're at with that. Okay. Let's start in on fire. If I sound a little congested today, it's because the pollen in the air around here is atrocious and does not like me today. We were camping all weekend and the pollen was really bad, and I get home and my throat started closing up, my nose started plugging up. It was no bueno. Okay. So let's clear the earth energy. Let's get started on fire. So 1645. Okay. Let's see what's going on for the fire signs. I'll just scare the crap out of my dog. You okay? He might want to go outside. Kinda looks like he does. Okay. Let me hit pause on recording this and let me take him outside. Give me just a moment. Okay. Now let's see what's going on with fire sign. What is going on for the fire sign? Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. What is going on with the fire signs? My hands are just barely too small for this thing. What's going on with our fire signs? There's two of them. Ooh, we got creativity, imagination, expression, originality, and passion. And then intelligence, education, knowledge, perception, and flexibility. What else? Let's get one more. What else is going on with fire signs? Even with those two cards, it's almost like finding this balance between the mind space and the physical reality. That is way too many cards. Just one more. Or two. Fire signs got a lot to say. We got relationships, intimacy, freedom, acceptance, and trust. Very interesting with this spread. I'm gonna kind of put my finger over this one because I don't know if YouTube will let me show this card. But it's physical health, vitality, strength, body image, and balance. Very Nikki woman. But hopefully YouTube will allow that. Um, Interesting. Almost seems like I want to say an expansion within a relationship of yours. And relationships can be anything ranging from platonic to romantic. It can be a work relationship, it can be just an acquaintance, like just any sort of relationship. It seems like there's almost some you're you're learning more within it. It's creating more health within that relationship, which is leading to more creativity, which is really cool. So I almost want to change the order of these. Yeah. Yeah. So you're learning something within a relationship, and that is causing more like physical health within your relationship. It could be intangible health, but just a little bit of a healthier relationship with somebody, and is creating a lot more flow in the relationship, which is really cool. Let's get some cards on the intelligence. What are you learning within your relationship? Let's get more cards on the intelligence. What's going on with intelligence for fire signs? What knowledge is the fire signs gaining? What perception is changing? Knowledge is changing. See what we get out here. Okay. 10 of coins, which is like it's the end of Remy. Goodness. Scratching the crap out of herself. So, 10 of coins is like mass abundance, mass wealth, which could be what the knowledge is leading to. Either that or you're learning that you already have abundance within your life already. How does this 10 of coins relate to the knowledge? Okay, 4 of wands. Interesting. Earth signs got that too. Um, the way I kind of see this is like kind of a little bubble of sanctuary while everything around you is in chaos and destruction. So it almost seems like you are focusing on that little bubble of sanctuary, and even if everything around you is in chaos and destruction, you're just so focused on the abundance that you already have within your life, and shifting that perception and knowledge of your life is creating more abundance. So, what's going on with the relationships? Let's see what kind of relationship this is. What is the energy within this relationship? Interesting. 3 wands. Earth signs also got that. You could be dealing with an earth sign, or an earth sign could be dealing with you. But the 3 of wands is like waiting for your ship to come in, waiting for your dream to manifest in reality. It's also a sort of longing. So it's either someone you've been longing for or someone that's longing for you. Let's see. What else can we get on this relationship? Ace of Swords, which is the start of the suit of swords, which it's either like the start of something new within the realm of the mind, or it's just like the embodiment of that suit in its entirety. So with swords, it's that the mind, the thinking, logic. But then we've also got the Ace of Cups, which is, again, the aces being the start or the embodiment of that suit in cups, which is emotion, intuition, relationships. Which, I mean, that does point towards a a mindset shift, which earth signs also had a mindset shift. Hmm. I almost think what's happening within this relationship, I'm getting a couple things. So you're either learning to balance the logic side of your brain and the emotional side of your brain, because that is one thing that I learned from the therapist that I had a long time ago. You have those two sides of your brains. You have those two sides of your brain. And when something triggering happens, it's almost like if someone says something that's like you take offensively, but they didn't mean it offensively, logically, you could know that they didn't mean it that way, but the emotional part of you is still reacting to that. So it becomes a matter of how are you going to react? Are you going to let the emotional part of your brain react, or are you going to let the logical side react, or are you going to blend the two? Either that, or since this is about a relationship, there could be, like two ends. So like one person might be more in the Ace of Swords and the other might be more in the Ace of Cups. So if you have a very logical person with a very emotional person, might need to learn a little bit of balance there. Hmm. Couple more cards on that in a little bit. Because I kind of want to know a little bit more about the Three of Wands. The Ace of Swords and Ace of Cups kind of make sense. But I don't know who's doing the longing and what we're longing for. But before I do that, let's get some cards on the physical health, the vitality, the strength, the balance, the balance. Learning some balance within relationships. Let's see what's going on with physical health for fire signs. Am I keeping these? I think so. Okay. So the Page of Cups. The pages are like, if you think of pages in medieval times, they were words. They were always children and they were messengers. They were initiates. They were still learning. So in cups of emotions and intuition, almost almost diving into working on a little bit of emotional maturity, which is great. Which is great for relationships too. Learning that balance between the logical side and the emotional side, and not letting those emotions take over and drown you and overwhelm you. And what is the. Okay. Ten of Wands, which that speaks to carrying too much without any help. It's burdens. And then we've got the Eight of Coins, which this to me is like the Eight of Coins is almost like an impasse. Like he's already got a lot of work done, but he's almost looking at this plan for another one, and he looks confused or perplexed. So it's like almost like a stall or a halt in plans because of confusion. And then the Ace of Wands. Lots of aces here. This is, Wands is passion, it's creativity, it's ambition, it's your free will. Hmm. I almost want to say that in working on that emotional maturity and the balance between the emotional brain and the logical brain, it's causing you to almost take a step back and look at all the work you've done and look at everything that you've been carrying and reevaluate it. And that's leaning towards what you actually want to create, which is kind of inducing this I don't want to say that. It's creating more health within the relationship. Which I mean that is kind of what I got with the creativity card. This reading almost seems to be repeating itself. What's going on with the creativity card? What is the fire signs wanting to create? Justice. Creating a little bit of justice, a little bit of fairness. This card is about putting biases aside to make a fair judgment. So it's almost like when you allow your emotions to take over and overwhelm you and drown you, it doesn't leave a lot of room for making that fair judgment and making a fair decision. So, in learning to balance your emotional brain with your logical brain, it is creating space for a fair judgment. Anything else? Anything else on creativity? What are the fire signs wanting to create? The Five of Cups, which Earth signs got too. There is something going on with you and Earth signs, I swear. But Five of Cups is like the broken pieces within your heart, within your soul. It's your emotional scars. I think it's just repeating that. It's not allowing those emotional scars to take over your judgment and making a decision. That's the way I see that. So that's repeating yourself too. What about I want to dive into this 3 of Wands because this is still the only part that's like who's doing the longing? What are you waiting for? Because I mean, over here, you have a lot of this balance and shifting, but 3 of Wands is waiting. So who's doing the waiting? What are we waiting for? You're waiting on the Earth sign. I swear you are waiting on the Earth sign because they got the 5 of Pentacles too, the 5 of Coins. This is being left out in the rain with no help. It's almost like you're waiting for them to ask for help. Yeah, I want one more. This is insane. Because you've got, let's see, one, two, three, four, 5 cards that the Earth signs got in their reading. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5. Make that 6. I'm shuffling. You can see me shuffling. They got the 5 of Wands too. This is fighting with people. This is competition. Yeah, it's almost like you're waiting for them to come out of this energy. This energy, because within their reading, this card was like a lack mindset, and then this was not playing in the sandbox well with others. Almost being superior and arrogant and competitive. So it's almost like you're waiting for them to come out of this. Somebody. You're waiting for somebody to come out of this. Hmm. Interesting. With tarot, the reading can usually it can be for you or it can be about somebody within your circle. Hmm. I don't think you're the one shifting here. I think you're waiting for somebody to shift. Hmm. Let's do one more. Who is doing the shifting? King of Cups. The King of Cups is like, with kings, they are air energy, the mind, thinking, but with cups, it's that emotional, intuitive side. The King of Cups makes decisions and actions based on his emotions, which can be good until you're letting your emotions dictate too many of your actions. So, whether it's you that is letting your emotions drive your actions, or whether it's somebody you know who is letting their emotions take over. They're the King of Cups is the one doing all of this shifting, and whoever this Three of Wands is, they're waiting. They're waiting for this person to come out of it. Very patiently, I might add. And I think it's right to wait because they definitely are, they're shifting. They're reevaluating, they're learning balance, they're learning to make fair judgments and work through their emotional scars, which is creating a lot more health within the relationship and will lead to the life that you are trying to create. Hmm, that's just wild. I I hope that gains a little bit of clarity. It could just be confirmation on what you already know. Take it as it resonates. But I only got so much time today, so we're going to move on to water. Let's see. These going. Clear the fire energy. Let that go. And let's see what's going on with the water signs. Let's do 46. Okay. What is going on with the water signs? Let's see. Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. I'm actually just realizing as a fire sign, I surprisingly have a lot of water sign people in my life. Which is probably why I'm so level headed as a fire sign. I've got plenty of water in my life to cool me down. As a water sign, you might be cooling down a fire sign. Never gotten this card before. We got Will. I like that. Expression, assertiveness, self control, and direction. Which almost reminds me of the Chariot for anybody that already deals with tarot. But yeah, it's your free will. You always have a choice. You guys are talking. Okay, solar plexus chakra. I want to say that rules emotion, but I think it also rules ambition. So that could be conducive to the will. Let's see, one more. Or two. Just like fire signs. So pleasure, enjoyment, beauty, sensuality, and indulgence. Hmm. And home. Shelter, safety, nurturing, and warmth. Hmm. It's got a cute little ferret or weasel on it. Look at that. Let's see. I just want to confirm. Yeah, okay. So the solar plexus chakra is the ambition, strength of will, personal power, self worth, freedom of choice, the ego. So, yeah, those two definitely go together. Let's see. So we've got will and the chakra of your will. We've got pleasure and home. I cannot wait to get into this. Let's dive into will and solar plexus chakra first. What's going on with the water sign will? going on with your choices? Hmm. There we go. If you didn't already know, I wait until it's stumbling before it's ready. It's kind of how I calibrate the deck to the reading, almost. Alright, what is going on with my water sign's will? Their ambition. What's going on there? What is going on with the water sign's ambition? I'd be getting a little defensive. Seven of Wands is like, I have my shit, and I am going to protect my shit. Because it's like it's almost, it is a protectiveness, but it's there for a reason. Because people are confronting you. People are not necessarily attacking you, but they're either challenging you or questioning you or what have you, and you are getting defensive about it. You're protecting your shit. And with will being ambition and like direction and choices, you might be protecting a choice you made. Let's get one more for will and soul. Make this shit up. The Chariot. This is all about your ambition, your drive, your will. It is so strong right now. Whatever choice you made, freaking stick by it. Or you are sticking by it. I'm not here to tell you whether it's a good choice or not, but you think it is. Mm-hmm. We'll come back to that. We'll pull cards on these other two, and then we'll come back to that because I want to know what this choice is. All right, what's going on with the pleasure card? What sort of enjoyment are the water signs calling in? What sort of beauty and indulgence are the water signs going? Okay. Two of coins, which is interesting. Two of coins is juggling a lot. Like, you got a lot of plates and you're juggling them all. You might be just trying everything. Any sort of enjoyment that brings you pleasure, you are indulging in whatever it is. And it's almost, I don't want to say it's too much, it's just a lot. You're sticking by that choice. Alright. Let's get one more for the pleasure. Not that much. Nope. Just one more. or 3. Let's see, they landed like this. So we've got the Queen of Cups, the Sun, and 2 of Swords. Interesting. I don't I don't know if this choice is so good anymore. Because, I mean, you do, with the Queen of Cups, she's double water energy. It's learning to go with the flow in where you're being guided and where you're being called. Could also be a little bit of swimming in emotion. Water signs are really good at that. But then you have the Sun card, which is the opposite of your energy. It is fire energy, very Leo energy. But that does speak to pleasure. Leos love to have fun, which is why the Sun card is the Leo card. It's warm and fuzzy and fun. So you're almost swimming in that, like, the things that bring you pleasure and fun and enjoyment, you are swimming in those emotions. You are just basking in it. But then with the Two of Swords, this is also speaking towards like an indecision or being blinded in a choice. I wonder if the fun and enjoyment and the pleasure of things are clouding your decision and blinding you from making that decision. You might be choosing something that feels pleasurable and feels good, and you are indulging in that, but it's blinding you from making a choice. I really want to know what that choice is. Cuz like you're standing by your choice. The Chariot is, like I said, strong will, learning to direct your life with the forces within yourself. But with this Two of Swords, you're being blinded somehow. We'll come back to that one too. Okay. I was gonna say, let's pull a card for home. Ace of Swords. The aces are like the start or the embodiment of that suit. And we're in the realm of swords, which is thinking, clarity, the mind, communication, under home. This could be surrounding thoughts about your home life or what feels like home. Okay, let's get one more for the home card. King of Cups and the Queen of Coins. Interesting. Is that two different energies though? Hmm. I almost want to say this is two different energies within the home. Because, I mean, you've got a monarch pair, you've got a queen and a king. You've got somebody who is very emotional, makes decisions based off of emotions. And then you've got the Queen of Cups. She's practical. She's in the realm of earth. But the queens are very receptive. So being receptive within earthly matters. Hmm. I don't like this. Starting to really not like this. Because what I'm getting from that is with the Queen of Coins, Pentacles, being receptive in earthly matters and materials, and the King of Cups being a very emotional person, I almost wonder if this Queen of Cups is take, 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 and no give. And this King of Cups is give, 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 and no reciprocation. Hmm. Well, where does the Ace of Swords come in that? You might be contemplating it. You might be thinking about it a lot, about this dynamic and within the home and what feels, because like my eyes were drawn to the word safety on the home card. You might be reflecting on whether your home, your sanctuary, feels safe or not. And that kind of goes along with something's blinding you. And it could be the enjoyment, like when things are good, they're good. When things are bad, they're bad. But that those good times are blinding you. They're making you think that everything's okay. But you still have this dynamic of take, 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 give, give, give. There's no balance. I mean, the Queen of Coins isn't all bad, don't get me wrong. We love her. But that's what I'm getting with her in this spread. And that doesn't necessarily have to be gender specific. The Queen of Coins could be a man and the King of Cups can be a woman. Like, it's just, they're just personifications. It's like yin and yang. I really want to know what this choice is. Tell me about Seven of Wands and the Chariot. Oof. Hmm. Got the Nine of Swords, which is the worry card. It is straight anxiety. You are waiting for that sword to fall. You are contemplating a sword hanging over your head and the world, which is the end of one chapter and the beginning of another. It is the completion of a chapter within your life. And with that being, with this choice, I think you're stressing over whether to stay in this chapter and keep this chapter going and keep writing in this chapter, or whether to end this chapter and start writing a new one. Let's get more on the Two of Swords. What is blinding? Two of Wands. Hmm. I feel like that's just a reiteration, though. you've got the key, but you're torn on what box to open. Yeah, one more. That's just a reiteration. What is blinding the water signs from making this decision? It's way too much. Say one more. Although I was looking at this, the two of coins. Lots of twos here. Lots of decisions, lots of duality, lots of focus on balance. And so I almost want to say, like, this two of coins is like you struggling to find balance between juggling all of this, between, when it's good, it's good, and when it's bad, and you're trying to almost weigh those and juggle those. But I really want to know what's blinding you. What is this two of swords and two of wands? What is causing so much difficulty around this decision? The Knight of Swords. There's a couple things with this. The Knight of Swords is a master in strategy because the knight is fire, quick action, quick passion, leaps without looking, does not question themselves. Excuse me. But within swords, that is the mind. That is thinking and communication. This card can kind of get a bad rap for being too rash, too impulsive with their words, not really thinking before they're speaking. It's almost like you're afraid to make this decision in haste because what if you make this decision and you miss out on all the pleasure, all the good, all the enjoyment. So you're trying not to make the decision too hastily. Which there's a lot of will cards. You are willing to die on that hill, and we all have free will. That is on you. But it is stressing you out. And there's not a lot of, like, especially just like with this queen and this king, there's not a lot of balance here. There's a giver and there's a taker. And I think you're seeing that. I think you're gaining clarity on that. I think you are cutting through the bullshit and seeing that there's no balance here. I want to pull a card on advice for making this decision. What would help water signs make this decision? Eight of Wands. And there's like a little, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a centaur in the back, which very indicative of Sagittarius. So you could gain help from a Sagittarius. But Eight of Wands. Hmm. The advice is just make the decision and quickly. you're not making the decision because in the past you have made decisions too quickly, too rashly, too harshly, too hastily. But Spirit's saying this time, act quick. Make the decision. Yes or no. Stay or leave. One or the other. But make a decision. It's time to nut up or shut up. I don't know if you've seen Zombieland, but that is a quote. That's not my words. But it's time to nut up or shut up. I think that is enough clarity for the water signs. We'll move on to air signs. Definitely want to clear out the water energy. Holy crap. Y'all going through it. A lot of lessons then. Clear that water energy. Bring in air. Clear the water energy. Bring in the air. Alright, air signs. Ooh, timestamp. 1:12. There we go. Now air signs. Right. Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Ooh, she ready. She ready. What's going on with the air sign? I have a lot of subtle air signs in my life. They're not prominent. They're very subtle. Like almost like not a lot of sun sign air signs, but a lot of like rising or moon or what have you. Personal boundaries. Hmm. Choice, assertiveness, empowerment, authenticity. That one can either speak to, it does speak to a little bit of stubbornness and building a wall, but it's up to you to decide whether that's needed here or whether you're being a little too stubborn and not noticing what you're blocking by holding on to those boundaries, by staying behind that wall that you've built. What else is going on for the air signs? It could also speak to needing more personal boundaries. Ooh, interesting. At the home. Because water signs got that too. Interesting. And connection, which is what Earth got. You could be like dealing with all the signs and just being like, leave me alone. Let me be in my own energy. Which I'm pretty sure we're coming into Gemini season. I could totally be wrong, but I know we have a new moon coming up in Gemini. Hmm. So personal boundaries, home, and connection. Let's dive into this. What's going on with the personal boundaries? What's going on with boundaries for the air signs? Yo, she ready. Alright. Tell me about the personal boundaries. Personal boundaries. Knight of Wands. Double fire energy. Which this could either speak to being very passionate about this boundary, very forceful with this boundary. Because the Knight of Wands is, out of all the knights, this is the quickest, most confident knight out of all. Because it's double fire. He don't question himself, that's for sure. So you're sticking by this personal boundary. Because you've been through it. You've been through this before. Nine of Wands. You've completed every single task that has been given to you from Spirit, God, the universe. And they're saying one more time. Just get up and try one more time. So maybe you've had difficulty in the past setting this boundary, and Spirit's saying one more time. This is it. And it's almost like this time you are not questioning yourself, you are not bending with that boundary, you are sticking to that boundary with passion. And what was the other thing I said? Yeah, I just keep hearing passion. You're passionate about this boundary. You are not letting up. And it's because you've been through it. You've seen this all before and you're not going through it again. What's going on with home for the air signs? Tell me more about home. Okay. The star. Love that. The star is like wish fulfillment. The other way I see it is like being really connected and in tune with that divine guidance within your life. I love this card. And then we have the wheel, which is like, it's very similar to the world, but whereas the world is the end, the change of the end and beginning, this is like a shift in the middle. It's like when you're watching movies and everything is going to shit and chaos is raining all around them. This is like the shift in either perspective or something within the story shifts and it all starts to turn around. And the chaos starts to kind of fall into place and make sense. Interesting. And that's under home. Interesting. Huh. They almost seem like two separate deals. It's almost like you're setting. Okay, there it is. Thank you. You're setting a very strict boundary within the realm of your home. Your home is your sanctuary. That is where you go to get away. And it's almost like something is trying to mess with that and mess with your sanctuary in your home. And you've already been down that road. And so you're saying, no, this is my boundary. I'm not budging on it. And so that's shifting something within your home, your sanctuary, your shelter, your safety. And it's creating what you want. It's getting a wish fulfillment. Your home is finally starting to feel safe. Interesting. Tell me more about the connection card. What support is coming in from air signs? Well, but almost everybody got the Three of Wands. Everybody's waiting for something. It's also it reminds me of Planet Treasure. I've said it before. I love that movie, and it looks like Planet Treasure. Treasure Planet, sorry, the movie. But Three of Wands is like waiting for the ship to come in, waiting for your dreams to manifest in your reality. And interesting. Eight of Coins. Which I see this as like a reevaluation, almost getting stuck on, he's already completed all these projects, but he's starting on a new one and he's looking at the plans for it and he's absolutely perplexed and confused. So it's almost like hitting a road bump in plans or a project. How does that relate to connection and support? You might be reevaluating who in your life feels supportive, what in your life feels supportive, and what does not. And you might be waiting for your soul tribe. I want to say soul tribe because our soul tribe, out of everyone, they are hands down the most supportive in your life. So you're either waiting for something supportive or someone supportive. I kind of want one more on the connection. Give me one more on connection. One more on connection. Am I keeping all of those? Yeah, I feel like this is a reiteration. You're reevaluating and you're waiting for you're being patient for the right people. Because with two of cups in the middle of the three cards that came out, my two some people see this as like the twin flame card or the lovers card. But the way I see the two of cups is it is an incredibly healthy dynamic between two people. And that could either be in a romantic relationship or a friendship or what have you, but it's a really healthy dynamic. It's easy, it's comfortable. And on the left side of that, you've got the Ten of Coins, which is immense wealth and abundance. It's getting everything you've ever dreamed of, but then on the right side, the devil, which is it's a self-imposed prison, but it could also be toxicity. And so I feel like you're just like looking left and right and left and right and left and right and just going back and forth and going, okay, that feels toxic. That feels healthy, abundant. But yeah, you're waiting for the right people. I kind of want to know more about this Nine of Wands on what boundary are you setting? What have you been through before? What road have you been down? Page of Wands. In my opinion, the Page of Wands can get a little arrogant sometimes because the pages they're learning. They're children, they're messengers, they're initiates within that suit. And this is within passion and creativity and ambition. And I almost want to say gifts and powers based off my own reading that I did the other day. But it can also speak towards hubris and being a little too confident with your gifts, your powers, and thinking you are more advanced than you are in reality because there's still more to learn. I mean, there's always more to learn, but your confidence doesn't match the skills that you have. And that's under the Nine of Wands. You could be dealing with a Page of Wands. You could be dealing with somebody whose confidence doesn't match their skills. Within the home, though. Hmm. Tell me more about the wheel. What is shifting within the home? Tell me about the wheel. What is shifting in air signs' home? What is shifting in their sense of safety? Ace of coins. The aces are the start or the embodiment of that suit. And being in coins, which is pentacles, earth, we're dealing with the material realm, the physical realm. So either foundations, values, money, materials, and that's shifting within the home. Interesting. Hmm. Let's get one more on that. Three of Cups. Interesting. That's like being in the flow of like emotion and creativity. It's different than the Queen of Cups though. Cause like especially with like all that instruments around her, it's almost like getting knocked out of the flow of your creativity and learning. Okay, yeah. With coins being physical, it could also speak towards skills, so you're almost learning what to do to get yourself back into that flow of creativity when you get knocked down or out of that flow of creativity. So that's what's shifting. That's what you're learning. I almost want to say this Page of Wands, because their confidence doesn't match their skill and you are learning to be in that creative flow, there's almost a little bit of envy, and they could be trying to knock you down a peg to make themselves look better. They could be trying to dim your light to make themselves shine. No bueno. Huh. But you're setting a boundary with them. You've been down this road before, you are not going down it again, and you are staying firm in your boundaries with them, which is awesome. I think that's pretty clear. Maybe let's pull advice on how to navigate this shift and this boundary. What advice do you have for air signs navigating this boundary? Just stay firm in it. Keep doing what you're doing. Seven of Wands, very protective, defensive energy. Just keep doing what you're doing. Perfect. I think that is just perfect. You keep doing you, air signs. Both you and water are staying firm in choices and boundaries. So be interesting to know who y'all are dealing with. All right. Well, that's a wrap for the week. If you haven't already, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps more than you know. It helps get the channel seen more. It helps me keep going. And if anybody is local, keep an eye out for updates with Ascendria. We are getting very close to opening that store. Very close. But yeah, follow along. I can't wait to welcome you guys into our space. And yeah, that's all I got. So I will see you next week, and I hope that gained a little bit of clarity in your life, and I will see you next week.